Hi everybody, Pastor Jerry here for this week's Around Town with the Pastor. Today I'm coming from our backyard at our house. Many of us have heard the word house or home a lot of times this last couple of months, haven't we? Shelter in place, stay home, don't leave your home if you don't have to. But for many of us, home can mean different things. Certainly it can mean the place where we live, where we reside. But it can also be a location like the state that we live in. Many of us consider Texas to be our home, although we might have moved here from different states, from different even countries. Many of us also are proud to say that Van Alstyne is our home. And then there are those of us who are so proud and glad to say that First United Methodist Church is our home church. And along with our homes, depending on, we're talking about the state in which we live or the community in which we live, our church family, or even the places where we reside. The thing that makes a home more than just a dwelling place are the people, the families that either live with us or worship with us or are with us in our community at different community events. The pride that we take just claiming the name Texan and referring to so many others who carry that name as well. But I think about the people that make up what a home truly is and the blessing that so many people are in our lives and the gifts of God that they are to us and the grace that we experience from God with the presence of one another in our lives. You know, the definition of grace, or one that I like to use, is grace is the free, unearned gift of God. I can remember the first time I actually began to understand and grasp this idea of grace. I was in high school. I hadn't had my driver's license very long, maybe just a few months. It was a Saturday afternoon. I'd just gotten a new basketball, and I drove to downtown Louisville, where I grew up, and I was going to meet my friend there, and he and I and whoever else was at the park at that time were going to play pickup basketball. We had a great time. It was a great day, much like today. The sun was out. It was cool temperatures. And when we were finished playing, everybody began to get on their bikes or get in their cars and go home. And so I got in my car and went back to the house. It wasn't until I got home that I realized that I had left my brand new basketball back at the basketball court. So I grabbed my keys and I was rushing through the house, and I told my parents that I had to hurry back and get my basketball before something happened to it. And as I was leaving the house, the last two things my dad told me were, be safe and don't speed. I got to the basketball court, and there I was relieved to find that my basketball was still there. No one had taken it. I got back in the car, drove home. When I walked in the back of the house, I'm not sure where my mother was, but my dad was sitting at the table in the kitchen. When I walked in, I just walked up to him. I placed my keys on the table. I placed my driver's license on the table. And then I placed the speeding ticket that I got on the table. I just quietly walked to my bedroom, didn't say a word. A few moments later, there was a knock on my bedroom door, and my dad came in, and he handed me back my keys. He handed me back my driver's license. But he held on to the speeding ticket, and he said, we won't tell your mother about this. That is the first time I can remember truly understanding, beginning to wrap my mind around grace, a free, unearned gift. Doing something I know I shouldn't have been doing something I was even warned not to do, yet my Father still extended compassion and mercy and grace. You know, we experience this free, unearned gift from God that we call grace in so many different ways throughout our lives. I would even dare say that we experience the grace of God each and every day, but so often we might miss it. It could be a kind word from a stranger. It can be a hug from a family member. It could be a phone call from a friend just checking on us. Grace can come to us through unconditional love or encouragement or acts of mercy and kindness. I think about the many ministries that are provided through our church family at FUMC and the vessels, the avenues of grace God's grace and love that have touched the lives of so many people. I know that we, as a church family, are touched by the ministries of one another, and we are a blessing to so many others because I believe that God uses us to share that free, unearned gift from God. So often we don't even realize that we are a part of God's plan in someone else's life, but isn't it a joy to be a vessel of God's grace? I want to share with you a scripture from John chapter 1, verse 16. And here the gospel writer writes, "Out of the fullness of His grace, He has blessed us all, giving us one blessing after another." Please know that you are a blessing to us. At First United Methodist Church, we love you and we are here for you. And we hope that we will continue to be in ministry with one another and be a blessing to each other and to others. We also want to remind you that God loves you. And if there is anything that you need, please be sure and let us know. Give us a phone call, send us an email, check in with us on the website or the Facebook page, and we'll be glad to do whatever we can during this time of physical distancing. But please remember that at this moment we are separate so that we can be together again in the future.